Hey up everyone. Almost 34 years after the spawning of its first unloved KLE500 was born, almost 20 years after it finally disappeared from showroom floors, the Kawasaki KLE500 has finally returned, and some of you will have seen my brief and less than flattering remarks about the promo video on the community page. Last year, after the teaser we got at EICMA, I followed up with the video New Kawasaki KLE500, a first glimpse, and I, like many others, had hoped that Kawasaki would deliver the goods this time on what was always seen as a bit of a dull bike in its day. Now, here I can talk with some authority, as I was a KLE500 owner, and I have to say, although I think it was misunderstood in many ways, I always thought the KLE was a very underrated bike, and I had some thoroughly great times on mine. It wasn't a dirt bike, but it was a better all-rounder than the sacred cow they kept serving up as the various KLR 650s. What it was a far better road bike than the KLR, and a far more dirt-focused package than most of the then fairly rare adventure bikes of the day. Roll forward over 30 years, and I was waiting with bated breath to see what Kawasaki had done to make this bike a better all-round package than its unloved predecessors. All we had was a disembodied 21-inch front wheel and a tagline at EICMA last year, but the line, "Life's a rally, ride it," was a promising start. Well, if life's a rally, I can think of many new bikes I would choose to ride it on rather than the new KLE500. I wasn't impressed, and it's an example of simple bad design for me. But here I'm going to look at some of the things that we now know and what we can expect. But I also want to try and make a point with this video, a video that is being born into a world on YouTube where just a day after the initial marketing video was published, endless lists of videos and slideshows were uploaded on the back of the KLE's launch. These weren't well made, well prepared, or even well researched. Had little detail because we still haven't got any, and were all, in honesty, a bit pointless. But YouTube doesn't care, it just wants more content, even if that is empty, pointless content. Most of the videos were just cut and paste AI creations thrown together automatically from a limited number of promo pictures, and a few of them will have done very nicely for the channels concerned. But so little information has been released that there really wasn't much to say, and there still isn't. Yet YouTube is flooded, and any one person, however interested, can only watch so many KLE500 videos. That means all the views are watered down to a point where even if you tick all of the YouTube boxes, or on one of the big channels run by a team of producers, you will be unlikely to get 100,000 views, so any advertising revenue is minimal. But I digress. Just try and remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Do go and come and see what we've been doing on the Ko-fi group too. You won't be disappointed. But back to the new KLE500. We do get that 21-inch front wheel that was sticking out of a large wooden box at EICMA last year, but what else will we get? Where will the new Kawasaki sit in the market, and how good will it really be? For those of you with no attention span, in short, it's boring, it's a 450 not a 500, it's got a trellis frame, but it's still too heavy. It's got KYB forks, but they're the cheapest unadjustable ones just for the KYB logo. It's got a unitrack rear suspension they're calling new, even though it wasn't even new 35 years ago. But you do get a dedicated Kawasaki app for your phone, so your phone and motorcycle can talk to each other even when they aren't talking to you. It goes on. Kawasaki tell you that you get an adjustable rally-style windscreen. Well, come on then, Kawasaki. Where are all these rally bikes with adjustable windscreens you copied the style from? Don't worry about that, they say, because you get rally-inspired styling too, with a tall front cowl. Oh, I nearly forgot. There's the all-new rally-inspired graphics pack too. You'll notice that a lot with this bike. It's got rally-inspired pretty much everything, even though it has absolutely no real resemblance to any real rally bike. It was obviously just the AI marketing department's statement of the day when they wrote the marketing. The two figures that should accompany every new bike launch are always the same. People want to know the power and the weight. After that, then maybe they will start asking about the price. But in this case, that was a very short conversation, because we got no power figures and no weight, just the price, which in the States will be $6,599 for the standard model and $7,499 on the special edition version. UK prices haven't been announced officially yet, but are expected to be around £6,800 for the standard model and around $7,700 for the SE version. For that, there are two questions that come up immediately for me. Does it do anything better than all of the opposition? And is the complete package just better? We won't know for sure for a while yet, but I think you'll get an idea from some of the observations I make. Kawasaki even went to the trouble of preparing a slide with a graph of the power and torque curves, but they neglected to include any numbers or scales on that graph. The first thing I noticed in the launch video, as you saw in my post, and yes, I admit it is a pet hate of mine, was that exhaust. In Kawasaki's words, getting rid of spent exhaust gases is an upswept exhaust canister, which Kawasaki says improves off-road performance and maintains maximum lean angle. This is where I'm starting to lose the plot when it comes to my bullshit detector going off. For a start, if that is what Kawasaki consider an upswept exhaust, then there really is no hope left. It's a low-slung, unprotected piece of design atrocity that should never have been put anywhere near any adventure bike, in my humble opinion. Internal volume of the whole silencer is so small that there will be none of the lower frequency notes we all love to hear, and it will probably sound more like a rattle can if my years of experience is anything to go by. It will certainly make a clatter or two as it slides down the road on its side, gradually grating through the first thing that will make contact with the ground on whatever surface you were riding. We recently saw the Brixton Crossfire from what is a pretty inexperienced company, and its exhaust was carefully routed around and upwards so that almost its entire length was kept inside the frame and rear subframe to minimise any chance of damaging it in a rollover. But Kawasaki chose the cheapest and easiest option possible, with no thought about the actual use the bike was supposedly intended for. It looks like they just took the silencer straight off the Ninja 400, except, if anything, the Ninja 400's exhaust is swept up more than the KLE500's. As to improving off-road performance and maintaining maximum lean angle, there are two problems there. The first, nothing about that exhaust will improve performance on or off-road. It could equally well have been designed to run higher with no detrimental effects. Secondly, even with the design as it is, the first metal to contact the road will still be that damn silencer, so it neither improves off-road performance or improves maximum lean angle over what could and should have been a longer internally mounted exhaust system with a big fat silencer to kill the high frequency notes of the exhaust, which do often get a bit annoying on smaller capacity twins. They go on to say that heat management has received careful attention, and we have included a unique radiator fan cover that redirects hot air away from the rider and critical contact areas like the frame, tank and side covers to keep the rider comfortable even in heavy traffic or during long days on the trail. What I want to know is if the heat is being directed away from the rider, side panels, frame and tank, where is it going? Either back towards the engine or out of the front so it can circulate back into the airbox maybe. You can tell I'm sure I'm already giving up on this one. Then we got the bump that the new KLE500 is built with a high tensile steel trellis frame, and Kawasaki say they purposely stayed away from using motocross geometry and concentrated on a geometry that offers versatility and comfort across diverse conditions. Well, seeing as it's an adventure bike, not a motocross bike, that would seem quite a basic decision really. And the frame looks quite nice underneath. You just can't see it because they covered it up with all that unnecessary plastic. What they mean is instead of designing a new frame, we just squashed up the one from the Ninja 400 and braced it up a bit. They say the bike's frame weighs in at just 41.8 pounds. That's just 19 kilos. But is that weight without the steel subframe? It certainly doesn't include the weight of the tangled mess of tubes around the front and sides of the engine. It does have an aluminium swing arm, which is good, but is connecting the swing arm directly to the engine on an adventure bike built to tour and ride off-road a good idea? I guess we will have to wait and see there. So, anyway, they got the weight up somehow, so either the engine is built from lead or they have lined all the plastic bodywork with steel to make sure it stays within A2 licence regulation limits. Either that or the engine is only going to produce around 40 horsepower stock. Kawasaki say that the trellis frame provides both light handling and rugged capability, with the engine acting as a stress member and rotated forwards to lower the bike's centre of gravity. Then I saw the pictures, and as you can see, although the engine is a stressed member within the chassis, they have run a network of extra tubing around the front and sides of the engine just to keep that power to weight ratio inside the regulations. For those that carry luggage, the KLE500 uses a rigid rear subframe that supports two panniers and a top case simultaneously. No weight capacity was provided, so you might not be able to put anything in the panniers, but you will still have paid for them, so Kawasaki don't mind. Because they didn't want the hassle of building a whole new frame that was purpose-built, it means to mount a skid plate, a whole new front subframe had to be built to support the skid plate. And I guess I shouldn't complain too much because unlike some, they didn't just bolt it to the engine casings. Unfortunately, it did end up weighing more than a twin cradle frame would have weighed in the first place, and the exhaust is sandwiched very nicely between the skid plate and the bottom half of the crankcase, just ready for one of those big rocks. To add some luxury, you also get an aluminium triple clamp with a rubber damped handlebar holder to reduce vibrations too, so don't you dare complain. Next we come to a basic bit of maths that has been picked on by a fair few people already, and let us start with the basics. The ground clearance is 6.8 inches. Yes, that's right, just 6.8 inches on a rally-inspired bike. With I would guess at least an inch to 30mm of sag, that comes down to under 6 inches of clearance. Front suspension has just over 8¼ inches of travel, and the rear shock has 7.8 inches of travel. Average that out, and you could, in theory, get around 8 inches of travel at the seat or the sump. One thing's for sure, it equates to more than 6.8 inches of travel at the sump, as you can see plainly from the kind marketing video that shows how easily it will be to land the sump plate on a piece of plain open dirt, never mind if it happens to run over a decent sized rock. Take sag out completely, and 6.8 inches minus 7.8 inches if the rear bottoms out, and you are already almost a whole inch into the dirt with that bash plate. It might honestly be the first bike I have ever seen that is designed to bottom out before the suspension travel is all used up. Brakes look adequate with a single 300mm disc up front, and to give them credit, Kawasaki have put a dedicated ABS off switch onto the bars. Sadly, it will automatically reset to its default fully enabled mode if you should so much as dare to switch the bike off and then restart it again. Steel spoked aluminium rimmed 21-inch front and 17-inch rear wheels are not tubeless, so I guess Kawasaki didn't get that memo either. Then we come to their dash. The KLE500 standard model's display is a high-contrast LCD instrument panel designed for clear visibility and intuitive operation, with a prominent bar-style tacho that arcs over a digital speedo and all the other information. You get an odometer, gear position indicator, fuel gauge, dual trip meters, remaining range, current and average fuel consumption, coolant temperature, clock, service indicator, and connected devices notifications such as mail and telephone alerts. There's an economical riding indicator too, which tells you if you're being an idiot if your wrist starts to get too twitchy. If you want more, don't worry, you can pay the extra for the special edition version. That way you will get upgraded to a full colour TFT display. And don't forget, using Kawasaki's Rideology, the app, motorcycle application, any rider can spend hours in the endless menu system rather than actually riding. They can even link their smartphones wirelessly to the instrument panel. Essential vehicle information like the fuel gauge, odo reading and maintenance schedule can be monitored directly through the app, while GPS route and vehicle performance data can be logged and reviewed using the riding log function. When using the app, even incoming phone calls and emails are shown on the instrument display. So that's sacred time all to yourself, just you and the bike, man or woman and the machine, has gone. Forever. No more will the words, "But I was just out riding," be seen in the same way again. Kawasaki go on and on about the KLE500's relaxed and versatile rider triangle, high aluminium handlebars and slightly feet-forward foot peg placement, which provides a natural, comfortable position both when seated or when standing off-road. That is, before they wax lyrical about their slim fuel tank, smooth bodywork and flat engine cases, until I began to wonder if I had entered some weird alternate reality. Then came the killer. Kawasaki say that the KLE500 seat has been specially designed for comfort and freedom of movement. Really? A seat built for comfort and freedom of movement? Talk about stating the obvious. Or maybe, like the Tenere 700, they seriously considered designing it as a torture device made to create permanent damage to even the most well-padded posterior. The said seat is just under 34 inches high, but figures like that can be misleading. The old KLE seat was higher but narrower than many are today, so we will see. Another thing you lose, though, is that single-piece bench-style seat that the old one had for so many years. What is it they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I guess the old KLE500 seat wasn't its pièce de résistance. The new KLE does have removable footpeg inserts, though, so again that is a plus. A removable rubber insert means you get the choice between road-friendly comfort or spiked off-road grip without the need for tools. You just need big pockets. So if you've heard all of this and are still thinking that sounds great, I'm interested, let's talk money, there's one thing left you should really ask that no one seems to be talking about. Is this bike better than the old KLE500? And is it better than all of the other similar 500cc twin adventure bikes on the market right now? And is it better value for money? So, let's see. The old KLE weighed in at just 178 kilos or 392 pounds dry and produced about 45 horsepower, unless you dropped a GPZ 500 block into it. Although we don't have the confirmation so far, the maximum power allowed in A2 licence regulations is 35 kilowatts or 47 horsepower, but the bike also has to fall within a 0.2 kilowatt per kilo power to weight ratio. That means, although we don't have a confirmed figure, the absolute bottom weight limit for any 47 horsepower bike is 175.75 kilos, or 387.5 pounds. So, almost 35 years of research and development might possibly have saved us around 2 kilos or 5 pounds in weight. And that could be accounted for by the aluminium wheel rims or the digital displays rather than the analog clocks. What can I say? I guess at least it didn't get any worse. I asked, does it do anything better than all of the opposition? My answer is that unfortunately, no, it doesn't. Then I asked if the complete package was just better, and we won't know for sure until it's been on the market for a while, but there is nothing that screams out "buy me" to me, and I am in the market for a competent but lighter alternative to my trusty old V-Strom. Do you think that this is better than the Honda NX500, or the CF Moto NT450 Ibex, the Kove 500X, or the Vosges 500 DSX, which have both now been pushed up to 625cc with the latest version of the Lonzin engines? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments section. Try to remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you're watching on mobile, hitting the like button helps too. Sharing the video anywhere you think people will be interested helps us more than most things right now, so it will be much appreciated if you could do that for me. Do remember to look in your subscription tab for the new content too though, because YouTube's algorithm is broken. The channels you subscribe to are much less likely to appear in your homepage now. You will have to go to your subscription tab to search us out. And if you'd like to help us to stay truly independent, on the Ko-fi link in the description, you'll get access to a private group where I share videos I can't screen on YouTube. There are videos anyone can watch there, but you can make a one-off donation or join our group of monthly subscribers for access to other videos that only the channel's patrons can see. Join us on Rumble too. There is more great content there that I can't share here. And don't forget, we make the best biker t-shirts. Hundreds of original designs on premium quality t-shirts and neck gaiters, all available worldwide. Links to the main website and the Redbubble shop are in the description. Have a great week, and always remember, keep your spanners close and your keys even closer. Ride free, everyone!